Hello friends, today I will discuss what is test execution. Okay, like in the previous session we had discussed how to write the test cases, how to find the scenario, and how to write the test cases in the real time, so you are able to understand and you are able to write all the any website or any application of the test cases. But after writing the test cases you have to execute. Sometime if you will go in any company, what they can do, they have a simply lot of the test cases. Just you have to execute the test cases and you have to tell the report and all. You have to make the report regarding the test cases, how many test cases is passed and how many test cases is failed. So this thing you have to do that. So what will happen while executing the test cases, we have to follow some like rules and regulation for while executing your test cases. So how to execute the test cases? Simply if you have some website, right, and just you wrote the one scenario like login the page. Inside the login page we have some validation part, right? Some like test cases is there, right? Like you can first what you will do first, I will give you the valid username and password. Then expected result and actual result is there. If our expected result will match the actual result, then our test case is pass. If requirement means our requirement is there, yeah, username is valid, password is valid. If both password and username is valid, then our test case is failed. Okay, so like that we are validating all the test cases, right? So this is execution of the test cases. But what will happen if your requirement will not match whatever the customer requirement is there? Like I can give you the example of simple the login page. If I am entering the valid username and valid password and login and clicking the login page, so this is the validation part, means test execution. What will happen? Our home page will be open. This is the expected result. But what will happen? We are getting some error, means we are not able to validate, we are not able to log in home page. So what will happen? This is the bug and defect will come. Then what we have to do, we will move in the defect lifecycle in the coming class. So first little bit discuss what is the test execution. So let's move in the some theoretical part. I have some point I have collected, so let's move in the some point. So in the test execution, in this page one will follow the following process for the execution. I already discussed we have to follow some rules while executing the test cases. Conducting the sanity testing. Sanity testing I already discussed in the previous session. And conducting the proceeding with the functionality and regression testing. Functionality means what you are validating in the application. Regression testing I had discussed in the previous session. You can go through that. Conducting the retesting, I already discussed in the retesting as well and regression testing as well in the previous session. So in this phase one will study and understand all the functionality, okay, test cases, and execute one by one test case on the application in the order to find the actual value. Means I can give you one example. You have to validate all the one website, one application is there. Then we have to understand all the functionality, how all the functionality of the application is working. That test cases is already written, but I am the new in the I am new resources in the company, and everything, all the system is new for me. Then what will happen? We will understand all the functionality first. Then according to the test cases, all the test steps we will execute, and we will find the actual value. Okay, after executing the test cases will come that result analysis. So in this page one will compare the expected value and actual value. I had already discussed what you have to do while executing the test cases. You have to compare the expected and actual. What is the expected and what is the actual, and give the result as a pass and fail. Okay, I had already given one example. Like we have another test cases like invalid password and username and invalid passwords. So what you have to do, if I will enter invalid username, then what will happen? Our test case will our expected result, some error will come because you are entering the invalid username password. so definitely some error will come, right? So what you have to do, if I will compare this actual result, so means expected and actual result, what will happen, some error is there. So yeah, if our test case is pass, like that we will, if expected result and actual result both are same, and give the result is pass, that's it. If expected value and actual value both are not same and give the result is a fail, this thing I had discussed in the how to write the test cases, and you can validate. I can give you some example, like I can give you example of Amazon, right? So this is our application, right? This application, what we have to do, this is my login page. If I will click on this login page, if I will click on this login page, our this page will be open, login page, right? So what will happen, this is my username. You can see what they have a requirement here, email ID or mobile number. If you will write something apart from email ID and mobile number, if I will click it, then what will happen, we will get error, right? Because the customer requirement is email ID or mobile number. So this is the negative test cases. Definitely if you are entering any value, what will happen, some error will become, right? So this is the negative test cases, but it is passed. Okay, like that we will validate. Actual and expected we will match. So this thing I had already discussed in the how to write the test cases and all in the previous session. If expected value and actual value both are not same and give the result is failed. Okay, if the test case is unable to execute, result is blocked. Sometimes what will happen, we are not able to execute our test cases, then this condition, what will happen, your status is blocked. Okay, so we have a bug tracking and report. So this is a very important concept in the this is your core job, QA, quality analyst. We have to provide the good quality to the customer. This is the QA job. So we have to find the bug. But what is bug? Okay, just nothing but this is our application, right? This is our application. Just what is the meaning of the bug? Whatever the customer requirement is there, you can see here the customer requirement they have given here, email ID or mobile number. We have to provide the username. This is the customer requirement. Okay, this is the customer requirement. If I am entering this anything apart from email ID or mobile number, what will happen if I will click but it will accept wrong username password, then what will happen, I will tell this is the bug. Okay, means conclusion is that requirement deviation. If any requirement is the customer having, but that requirement is not matching the application what we have developed that application, that is called bug. In the formal name you can call defect also. Okay, so finally we can tell whatever the customer requirement is there, according to the customer requirement some deviation is there inside this requirement, so that is called bug. Sometime what will happen, this is the customer page. After developing the application, this customer want, this is the yellow color, but it is showing white color as well. So what will happen, it looks not good, right? So this is the bug. So means simply we can tell whatever the customer requirement is there, it will not match according to the customer requirement, that is called bug. So I will come in the theory. What is bug? This is very important for your interview purpose and your job as well. Okay, so a bug is the consequence outcome of the coding fault. Okay, so what will happen, what developer did some mistake in this code. Okay, some fault in the code is there, they developed the code but some he did mistake, means whatever the mistake he did, some button is not working properly. If I am clicking, that button is not working, means some problem is there inside this code. What is defect? Means a defect is the variation or deviation from the original business requirement. Okay, same stuff. You can tell the bug, you can tell the defect. Stuff is same, means deviation or variation. How happened this? Because of some default coding, some mistake, developer did some mistake. That's why this defect come, right? So when a tester execute the test cases, he might come across the test result, and which is contradictory to the expected result. But what will happen? We have a requirement. That application will come in the testing phase. Then we are the tester and we will test that application. We will test that application. What will happen? Our requirement is not matching with, while the executing the test cases, our requirement is not matching with the customer requirement. Means application, whatever the application we are testing, we are whatever the functionality we are testing, that requirement is not matching with customer requirement. So that is called, this is the variation in the test result referred as a software defect. These defect or variation are referred by the different name in a different organization, like issues, problem, bug, or incidents. So every company using the different names, but thing is same. While reporting the bug to the developer, your bug report should be contain the following information. What will happen? You are the tester, you found the defect, then what you have to do, you have to rate the defect. So every organization having the different tools they are using, but process is same. Process is same. Every company having the different defect tracking tool, but process is same. So what will happen while reporting the bug to the developer? Then your bug report contain the following. So this information I have to give the developer boss. Whatever the application we are working on it, some defect is there, then we have to give all the information to the developer. Means developer is able to understand, yes, this is the defect, where the defect is there. So first we having the defect ID, means if you are raising the defect, right? So what will happen? One ID will be generated. Why ID will be generated? And this is the unique ID, because the able to search this defect stuff, because in the organization lot of the defect is there and all, right? So how you will search? So that's why defect ID is there. This is the unique identification number for the defect. So defect description I have to give. Yes, I will give you all the information what the defect is there, right? Like our login page is not working. If I am clicking on the login button, then what will happen? I am not able to I am not able to click on this. Then what you have to do? You have to write each information about of that. Then you have to tell the developer. So here, that's why I have written defect description. Details description of the defect, including the information about the model in which defect was found. Whatever the models, whatever the pages is there, we have to describe all the stuff, because the developer is able to understand where is the exactly defect is there. Version of the application. Version of the application in which defect was found. Sometimes which version we are using, right? We are having a different version, right? So which version of the application we are using, we are finding the defect. Steps, we have to write all the steps. Details steps, we will write all the steps and with a screenshot, and we will take the screenshot with which the developer can reproduce that defect. I will write each steps. When you are writing the test cases, all the steps is there, right? That test cases we are executing, right? Executing means we are checking the functionality according to the test steps. That test step again we will write, and we will take the screenshot where we are getting the defect and will send to the developer. And data raise data when the defect is raised. I told you we have a defect tracking tool. I will discuss this defect tracking tool as well, so you will get a little bit idea about of defect tracking tools. We have to give the reference, where you provide the reference to the document like requirement, design, architecture, or maybe a screenshot of the error to the help to the understand the defect. Means reference I will give to the developer, boss, this is the customer requirement, but you are deviating, we are deviating from, we are not able to provide the customer requirement, we are deviating from the requirement because this requirement is not matching to the customer requirement. We have to give the reference. So best thing, we can take the screenshot and we will send to them. Sometime what will happen, developer is not able to understand, then we will also give the some requirement, this is the requirement actual and expected, but we are not achieving this, directed by your name or ID of the tester who raised the defect. I am the tester, because any query will come to the developer, they are able to search to me and they are able to contact to me. A status of the defect and more on this later. Some we have to give the status of this defect, fixed by name or ID of the developer who fixed. After that, after fixing the defect, they who fixed the defect, they having all the information about the developer. Close date also will be there, date when the defect is closed. Severity means which describe the impact of the defect on the application. Severity means how impact having on that application, that is called severity. I will come and I will discuss in the later for the severity and priority, high level severity, low level severity. I will discuss all the stuff, but here you can understand severity which describe how it is impact of the application. Like you can tell the critical severity means our application is shut down, that is the high impact, right? Priority, which priority, which related to the defect fixing urgency, right? Like we have to give the high priority and high severity. I can give you one example. Severity, high severity means our application is shut down, it will impact on the business. Then what I have to do, I have to raise the high severity, I have to rate the high priority. High priority means which related to the defect fixing urgency, means this is the urgent you have to fix, and severity priority could high, medium, low, what I had discussed before, right? Based on the impact urgency at the which the defect should be fixed respectively. Okay, so this is the stuff you have to mention. So what is the defect life cycle? So this is very important. If you will go in the any company, definitely this question they can ask. So defect life cycle means we raise the defect, okay, but we have a lot of the conversation between the developer and tester, okay. So that cycle we will discuss here. What the defect found, right? But what will happen, we have a cycle of the defect. Yeah, defect is coming, after the fixing again the defect is still there, then again we have to talk to the developer. This conversation happening with defect tools, okay, defect tracking tools. So this is very important. Defect life cycle or bug life cycle, you can tell, is a specific set of the states that bug goes through the discovery to the fixing the defect, to defect fixing. The number of state that defect goes through the varies from project to project. It depends upon the a state depends upon the project to project, how they are working on it. Not like that, means every stage is same, but sometime some new thing will come, like like developer is not accepting this is a defect and all. So sometime we have to some new stages is there, okay. So this is the regarding of your defect stuff, what is the defect, and we'll discuss also defect life cycle. So these are the steps of defect life cycle, means these are the phases. So what will happen, new means if you are testing any application, right, you are executing the test cases, you are testing the application, writing the test cases and executing the test cases, what will happen, that defect will come, okay. Defect means your expected and actual is not matching, that is called defect. So first we will search any defect is already raised or not. If no, if still there, then we will continue for that. Okay, but that defect is not there, then a status is called new. Means simply you can tell if you are finding any new defect, that is called new status. So when a new defect is logged and posted from the first time, it is assigned the status is new. Means if you are finding first time that defect, that status is new. After finding the defect, what you have to do, you have to assign the defect, right? Once the bug is posted by tester, what will happen? The lead of the tester approve the bug, assigned to the developer team. What will happen if I am the tester, I found the new defect, then what I have to do, I have to contact with our team lead or senior tester, whatever in my group is there. Once they will approve, then what will happen, the bug and assigned to the developer, then a status is assigned. Okay, then what will happen, I assign that defect to the developer, then developer will open that defect, that a status is called open. Whenever the developer accept the defect, yeah, he found this, yeah, he accepted, boss, this is the defect, I am working on it, then that status is called open. Okay, now next is what they have opened, they accepted this is the defect and he is working on it. Okay, that status is called open. When once the defect is rectified, what the developer is rectified that defect, will set the status as a fixed, and it is also called rectified. Once defect is fixed, a status is fixed. Pending reset, retest. After that, what will happen? Developer fixed that defect. What will happen? Still I did not test again. So what will happen? The status is pending and retest. Once defect is fixed, what happened? Developer fixed the defect and give the particular code for the retesting to the code to the tester. Since the testing remains pending, what will happen? Sometimes they fix the defect and still we did not test that application. So what will happen? The status is pending. Okay, from the tester end, the status assigned to the pending request. Okay, now what will happen? Again we have to retest. After fixing the defect, still the tester is not working on it. After that, the tester came, and after that, what will happen? Tester again test that defect. Still defect is there, your defect is resolved. The tester does the retesting of the code at the stage and check whether the defect is fixed by the developer or not, and change the status is retest. While testing, the status is called retest. Verified. Again we will verify. The tester retest the bug after it got fixed by the developer. If there is no bug detected in that software, then the bug is fixed and the status is assigned to verified. I retest the application, our software, then what we have to do, again we will verify, yeah, this bug is fixed. Then what will happen? This status is called verified. Again what will happen? Reopen. If the bug is persists means still there, after development has fixed but bug is still there, then tester change the status to reopened. I can give you the one example of this reopen. I assign to the developer, again I retest, but still I found the bug, then at that time the status is reopen. Okay, if bug is no longer exist, then the tester assigned to the status is close. But what will happen? I tested, again I saw there is no defect, then a status will be closed. Again another state is there, duplicates. If the defect is reopened twice and the defect corresponding the same concept of the bug, then the status is changed to the duplicates. I erase the duplicates defects. Okay, that is called the status is duplicates. Rejected. Sometime what will happen? If developer feel the defect is not genuine, defect, then the change the defect status is rejected, means developer found there is no defect, then what will happen? A status is rejected. Different state, this is the very important, sometimes they can ask in the interview, if the present bug is not prime priority, means present bug is not prime priority, and if it is expected to the get fixed in the next release, then a status is deferred or assigned to the such as a bug. Deferred means, I can give you one example. I have released one model, but what will happen? I again tested, I found this, according to the tester I found this, this bug. What will happen? This bug means this defect will be resolved in the next module while developing. So what will happen? Your status is deferred, means if the present bug is not a prime priority, and if it expected to get fixed into the next release, means what will happen? This defect will be fixed in the next release, then the status is called deferred. This is the important deferred state they can ask in the interview. Not a bug, if does not affect the functionality of the application, then the status is assigned to the bug is not a bug. Okay, what we are doing, like we don't have a it is not affecting of the any functionality, so this is the status is bug. So this session is like I had discussed what is the test execution, how to execute the test cases, and while reporting, how to report to the developer, what is the bug and what is the defect and what is the defect life cycle. So this session is very important, so just read, means if you having any doubt regarding this session, you can ask me, and thanks for watching this video. Thank you so much.